Oh, welcome in, everybody. Oh, glad you're here on a Thursday with Longshore, or it's a Wednesday. It is a Wednesday. I'm ahead of the game today here, Barry.
Yep.
Man, so excited about the big weekend of college football. I've jumped ahead, but I do know there is college football tonight. I did check. I guess you can call it college football.
I hate it when he does that. Is that the way we're going to start? I guess you can call it college football. Look.
It's in the college football tab. I looked it up, man.
I'm telling you, Middle Tennessee practices just as hard as Alabama and Auburn do. They lift weights and, they've got study hall and athletic trainers and rehab, Liberty, UTEP, Missouri State.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, they work every bit as hard, and their diehard fans love them every bit as hard. And he opens up the program by saying, I guess you can call it.
I guess
a total abject, inexcusable lack of respect.
Well, I'm going to get into that a little deeper about another team because I did some research since we were last on the program. No, somebody did not send it to me. I promise you, I looked it up myself. But we'll get to that. Well, in just a moment.
To give this the respect it deserves, Missouri State at Middle Tennessee, the Bears versus the Blue Raiders tonight.
Well, there you could have got me right there. Give me the mascots of the four teams that are playing tonight.
Missouri State Bears versus the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
I should know them.
On ESPN2. Yeah, Chris the Bammer. We're Liberty, the Flames.
Yeah.
They're taking on the UTEP Miners.
Okay, I've heard of them.
In El Paso tonight.
Didn't the former Alabama head coach, well, I don't know if he was actually really a head coach. Wasn't he the coach at UTEP at one time?
He was a head coach.
Mike
Price was the head coach at UTEP after he was invited to leave the University of Alabama.
Like Bill Curry, who was invited to leave.
Yeah. Was he? Bill Curry looked at that contract and tossed it over his head and said,
better deal in Lexington.
On my way to Lexington. Will those be a part of the Phantom's daily dog today? Number one, that requires the Phantom looking up and saying, is there a line on this?
Yeah, well, first I got to see what the weather report is. More on that later.
Yes.
Some football tonight.
What a way to start the program.
Love it.
Absolutely just.
Folks, over 30 years of this kind of content. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is unbelievable.
I don't know, Barry, this really caught my attention early today. A little off the sports subject.
Oh, boy.
We got some guys who are on the chat line early. We really, really appreciate it. Our man Ty hits us with some news. Ty had heard about this as well. Rush is going back on tour. Ty, I'm in, my man. And the drummer, a female drummer from Germany. I saw some video of her. Woo! This girl can play.
Tom Sawyer is our headline title on episode 283 of Longshore and McKnight, which is one of the differences in this program. One of the differences, like John has said, between he and I, that has provided quality content for 30 years. I see John and Ty see Tom Sawyer, and they're like, oh, Rush, is that better than Limelight? Which do you like better?
Yeah.
Which one does Geddy Lee sing better on? Limelight or Tom Sawyer? I'm looking at, oh, man, I remember the scene where he paints the fence, and then later on, Becky Thatcher and him get lost in the cave, and Injun Joe is coming out after him. Yeah.
That they're back, and the female drummer.
So I'm looking at the book from Mark Twain.
Yes.
And John's looking at, oh man, Canadian rock band. Those guys go. I hear, I'm sitting here. Everybody says, "Wow, Barry." Well, I do have my degree in English literature, which was basically, such a great help to my career.
Yeah.
I mean, I know about the cave, and I know about Injun Joe, and I know about Becky Thatcher and all that kind of stuff. John knows about the other Tom Sawyer. Hey, man, they got this female German drummer.
Yeah, she can rock.
The heck does he know that, man? So we have different depth
from Germany. Yeah.
Knowledge.
So I got to catch Rush Tide. Let me know when they're going to be close to Montgomery. I need to go check them out. And as I mentioned yesterday, just as a programming note, you're going to hear some thumping and hammering.
Oh, yeah.
I got some guys up on my roof as we speak. I mean, is that great live TV or what? So, so they're scraping off some shingles.
You may hear that a little bit, but,
yeah,
that's what happens. Every once in a while, John and I will do a show out at like a car dealership or something in the showroom.
Oh,
and you can hear those guys in the background saying sold or absolutely, ma'am, here we go right now and everything. And then John says, Dak Prescott's not even a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. And then boom,
you could hear a pin drop.
Everybody's like,
all right, so Barry,
so I mean, it can be distracting in the background.
Yeah, a little bit, but
sure.
Sound effects. It gets people thinking, what's going on over there? Are they adding on to the studios? Yeah, that's it. We're building a brand new Longshore McKnight studio as we work in progress. Pardon our progress, as they say.
Yeah. Our buddy Tobias, T. Smitty, he says, morning, gentlemen. Tobias is up early. Why, John? He's going to be using the Montgomery Regional Airport.
Oh, fantastic. Are you leaving town or coming into town, Tobias? What's the story?
We want to know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We want to
love it, man. Fly MGM. Gets better the more you use it.
It's a community here on the program.
Yes.
And
I want to tell you this, Barry, Tobias, and just if you're coming in or out, just as another public service, we mentioned it one of the last times we were out at MGM. They are in the process, as we speak, of rebuilding, remodernizing, and enlarging the baggage claim area. So there's a new baggage claim area out at MGM. And it's more of a manual. They have a lot of people there that are moving the bags to and fro to get them back to you. But it's going to be really, really nice when it's completed. But as of right now, it's a little alternate plan. So just be aware of that when you're flying into MGM. There's a new baggage claim area.
Did you ever notice that you never hear about a cranny? Unless there's a nook nearby.
Right, true.
Nobody ever moves like baggage just fro. Hey, I'm moving that one fro. No, it's always to and fro.
Fro.
Why can't you just move it to? We've seen that. Hey, I'm going to this place. I'm moving to that place.
That's a good question.
I'm coming fro. Never happened.
Really good question. Here's another question I got for you.
Yep.
All right, about a 24-hour time period. I've heard a lot of things. I'm sure you've probably heard a lot of things too. Want to get into it a little bit deeper. What has been the feedback from your constituents about Auburn moving their game with Baylor to Atlanta next season?
They don't like it, but they understand it's necessary. Kind of like a vasectomy.
Yeah.
You don't like it, but you figure things will be better in the long run. They don't like it at all. They miss a home game. The fans are saying, I talked to this one guy yesterday who I considered a very level-headed Auburn guy. And he says, I hate not having the home game, because he thinks that Auburn's got the best home atmosphere in the SEC, and he may not be wrong. He says, I hate missing that. He's going to go to Atlanta because, he is die hard, and I mean die hard with a D-Y-E.
Yep.
He's a die hard Auburn guy, and he's not going to miss the game. I don't think he's missed a game in years. But he hates not having the home game because, loves the stadium, loves the home atmosphere, thinks it'll be difficult for Baylor to play in and all that kind of stuff. But on the other side, man, do we need that NIL. Golly, if it helps us get a set of offensive tackles, or maybe a quarterback who'll cut it loose, then man, I'll take the hit. I'll drive up to 85 to get to that ball game.
I get it. I completely understand. I want to play at home. I want to play at Jordan-Hare. The atmosphere Saturday night is going to be incredible with Georgia coming to town. It's a tough place to play. You're not going to have a lot of home games next year. The ones you have, Georgia and Alabama aren't a part of it. I believe Tennessee and LSU are. Vandy and Arkansas, I think, of the 4 conference games. Your non-cons are a bunch of alphabet soup kind of games, kind of like teams that are playing tonight. So I get that. But it is a different day and age. And I've heard some comments, Barry. I've heard people reading text and links and emails that were supposedly forwarded to John Cohen seem to be coming from older Auburn fans that don't seem to understand what college athletics is like today and what it's all about.
And they don't understand because they don't want to understand.
They don't.
I hate the way it's come.
These are the same ones that parked close enough to the stadium they could basically throw a tennis ball and hit it. Now they can't do that anymore, and they don't like that.
They're also the ones that'll be first on the charge if Freeze can't get enough good players to win an SEC championship. We got to get him out of here. Look,
that's right.
I don't care if it's Hugh Freeze or Hugh Hefner or Mr. Freeze.
And
you ain't going to win without good players.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, first and foremost, you've got to have the best players out there because your opponents are doing the same thing.
Why do you think Saban won all those natties?
Yeah, it's all about the best players.
Guys?
And, yes, the bulk of this going to football, it all is. But allegedly, it sprinkles into basketball and women's basketball, whatever. That's the politically correct thing to say. And maybe it will, but this is definitely a football move, as most everything in college athletics is. And I understand it. It's all about money. It's a financial decision. And certainly your customer base isn't real happy about it. But in the long run, they feel like it's going to help build their rosters. Yeah, there's a lot of Auburn season ticket holders that are going to have to find a ticket somewhere else than, Tickets Unlimited or whatever the Auburn ticket program's called over there. That could be kind of a pain in the rear. Going to Atlanta, I've said it yesterday, the location's terrible. Don't know why they built that place where they did. There's no tailgating, downtown. Game day atmosphere. Post game's terrible. The arena's nice, but and it's financial. I mean, that's just the bottom. It's hard to turn that down in the grand scheme of things. You'd rather be in your own house. I get it, but like I said yesterday, until the city of Auburn and Opelika come up with an idea to go, I'll tell you what, we'll pay you $5 million to play here because we're going to, and I know a lot of business owners have been questioned about it and they're not happy. Yeah. I get it.
That's all I can tell you is I get it. Man, we understand. But that's the way of the world right now, according to Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's the way that it is. Should it come down to business leaders in Auburn and Opelika getting together and coming up with an attractive financial offer to keep games in Auburn? I mean, that's what happened way back when all of the good Auburn games were played in Columbus or Atlanta or
heck, they played them in Birmingham for a long time.
Birmingham and Montgomery. The people in Auburn finally said, look, we got to get something together and, we got to get those good games here. Now they've had them here for 2 generations. And now should they be forced to say, oh, golly, we got to beat Atlanta to keep our games where they belong?
Auburn's not going to be the only team that does this.
No.
I mean, there are going to be other ones out there thinking, ooh, yeah, yeah, we'd like to do this too. I mean, don't be shocked if Alabama doesn't get in on this game.
Fairly soon.
I'm telling you, Greg Burns sending out letters and emails all the time trying to get people into Yay, Alabama. This is a little $5 million injection. I got to think he's probably already on the phone going, when you want us over there?
Yeah, and against who? We'll, speaking of that, and we're going to get into this a good bit as we get into the week. I'm not loving the mindset of the fans at Auburn and Alabama heading into this weekend. Auburn fans are fatalistic. They're like, I think Auburn's got a chance, not a great chance, maybe not even a decent chance, but they've got a chance against Georgia this week. Georgia hasn't been, Georgia this year. I think Auburn's got a chance, but the fatalistic Auburn, we'll probably, if we can keep it within 3 touchdowns, I'll be happy. That's no way to act. Alabama fans are entirely otherwise. You heard it seeping through the tone of this program. Yes, I know Missouri is 5-0, but Central Arkansas, Louisiana, South Carolina, UMass.
Yeah.
Look, this is you're gonna Bama fans, you're going to be asking yourself this question on Sunday. Who the heck is Ahmad Hardy, and why didn't we get him?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why did Missouri get this guy? Ahmad Hardy leads the nation in rushing by 37 yards over the number 2 guy from North Carolina State, who has played one more game than Ahmad Hardy has. But this is what I'm liking. I'm loving the facial expression from Jonathan. I'm telling you, Missouri's 5-0.
Yeah.
It's their 18th straight sellout.
Oh, yeah. What they got, 42,000 seats over there?
18 straight sellouts, tied for the longest in program history.
Mm-hmm.
It's a matchup of top 15 teams. It's the first matchup between 2 top 15 AP-ranked opponents in Columbia since September 29th, 1979. John had just gotten his driver's license. He was in 9th grade or something.
Yeah, I think I did have a driver's license. I mean, by then. You're right.
1979. You don't think that place is going to be loopy, crazy nuts up there? And
yeah, those 42,000 will be going crazy.
I suppose it'll be an endearing little sidelight, an amusing little hurdle for us.
A top 15 matchup. 4 teams in SEC history have defeated 3 ranked conference opponents in 3 consecutive weeks without an open date. That's hard to believe. Only 4 teams in the SEC in its history have defeated 3 ranked conference opponents in 3 consecutive weeks without an open date. Alabama will play its 3rd straight ranked conference opponent in 3 weeks on Saturday. ESPN Bets has Alabama at a 2.5-point favorite. Everybody else has got the Tide at 3. What's going on there? They've also got Georgia as a 4.5-point favorite, where everybody else has Georgia as a 3.5-point favorite.
This is not even a touchdown either way. Auburn fans are already counting it as an L. Bama fans are already counting theirs as a W.
Yeah. Well, when we get back from this break, Barry, I dug up something else yesterday that just strengthens my opinion about this game even more. What do you say we share it when we get back?
Yes. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Hey, folks, how often do you think about your roof? Probably not often at all. I know I didn't until I needed a roof replacement. And I call my friends at Roof Life. Whether it's roof inspections, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, Roof Life is there for you. They use the highest quality products, top quality craftsmanship, and if you're like me, your roof can be replaced in one day. So if you're in need of a roof inspection, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, get in touch with my friends at Roof Life today. You can go to roofyourlife.com. That's roofyourlife.com, or dial them up locally at 334-306-6712. That's 334-306-6712.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk, stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. Okay, here we are back at it on this Tuesday. So we haven't done. I still don't know what day it is. Wednesday here
Wednesday
on the program. Yep, so
Wednesday.
it is Wednesday, midweek.
Yep.
Usually not my favorite day of the week, but hey, we're going to make it work anyway. Before I get into the Missouri-Alabama thing, I thought this was an interesting question. I think it was from it might have been from Tobias. Yeah, how come Aflac just can't sponsor the game in Auburn? Why's it got to be in Atlanta?
Because they're probably not the only one sponsoring that game. They probably got a deal with Mercedes-Benz. You know, Mercedes-Benz, the stadium, they've got an entire office full of cubicles with people who are marketing their stadium. I mean, they may have Rush coming in there sometime in the fall. They may have a tractor pull. They may have
maybe
Taylor Swift, like they did that night whenever we were there for SEC Media Days, which got in everybody's way. And they're thinking, hey, we need another football game. You know, they
but I don't know why college stadiums can't get into that business as well. Find some sponsors. You sponsor the, Alabama, Tennessee, sponsored by Aflac or Home Depot or whomever.
Well, now they do have game sponsors. There's a lot of, if you'll see, like on the programs, the digital programs, sometimes you'll see, hey, this Alabama-Mississippi State game is sponsored by Golden Flake, or, this Auburn game, welcome into today's sponsors, Yellowwood, pressure-treated pine, and they'll, have some guy in a yellow shirt down there waving
I'm just saying maybe,
but it ain't the money like they're going to get for that game at Mercedes-Benz. And it's going to be extra NIL money, which is probably the most important thing to anything. And
I'm just saying,
probably tapped out on NIL.
I'm just thinking on my sales meeting, putting on my sales meeting hat. What do you mean? I never went to a sales meeting. I had my own sales meetings.
Yeah.
But they're always getting you to come up with creative ways to market your stations and this, that, and the other. Yeah. And I'd look at them and go, that ain't going to work. Y'all are wasting your time. But
wait a minute. Keychains? Really?
Car tags? Come on.
Koozies.
Just, go out there and, hey, you're the sponsor of our NIL game of the week. Something like that. I don't know. I think Auburn is really kind of, broken the seal, if you will. I think you're going to see a lot more of this going on, folks. So get ready. College football's changed from kickoff times to how the game's presented to concessions to security. Get ready. This is just another element.
Yeah, and it that jogs my memory about the fan I was telling you about yesterday that I talked to yesterday, died in the wool. He says, why does Auburn always have to be the first one? Hey, he doesn't think it's a good look. It's like Auburn. That doesn't mean Auburn is more desperate than anybody else. It just means Auburn is thinking ahead of the wave.
Yeah.
They're setting the tone. And he said, he actually did this. I've never heard of another human being achieve this. He actually said, I can't even do it like John does it. So
yeah, I've had a lot of practice. All right, let me throw. I'm hearing way too much. People getting hot and bothered about this Bama Missouri game and this Ahmad Galloway or Ahmad whoever.
Nice. There's a blast out of the dang past right there.
Whatever his name is, some league
it's going to be the greatest game in the history of ever because Joe Tessitore's doing it for ABC.
Oh, yeah.
He's the only one that can get that caffeinated at 11 o'clock this morning. It's battle between two top 15 teams.
Yeah. Well, here's something that I've been harping on. Strength of schedule disparity is too big to ignore. Alabama has played the number 4 schedule in the country, while Missouri has played the number 150th. There are only 136 FBS level teams. So that means 13 FCS teams have played a tougher schedule than Missouri has thus far.
Woo. That is well written, John.
Yeah, the scheduling philosophy didn't work for Eli Drinkwitz last season, and it remains to be seen if it'll work again this year. You're telling me there are 13 FCS teams with more difficult schedules to this point in the season than Missouri? No wonder. I'm surprised this guy had already rushed for 1,200 yards.
I feel like that wasn't John's original writing. That's not John's original content. That must be.
It is not.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'll tell you, this comes from the Gold Sheet.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, guess what? Last year, Ohio State won the national championship. Am I right?
I believe so. Yes, I believe that is correct. Yes.
Their non-conference schedule last year, Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall.
Yeah.
After an open date. Their first 3 games, surprisingly enough, all at home, Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall. They win the national championship.
And
with
if
that
you look at Penn State
schedule
this year, I think Penn State's first 3 games were pathetic. I mean, they were horrible.
So what you want, I mean, is it enough to win the national championship in and of its own right? No, but it's enough to get you in the playoff.
Well, I don't know about that either, because strength of schedule is a huge barometer of getting into the playoff. And once Missouri gets through this little patty cake city and an off week and all games at home so far, they played 5 at home. This will be their 6th straight game at home. They finally ramp up competition against a team that's played the 4th most difficult schedule to this point, and that's when reality sets in. Now, I don't know what's going to happen the next week at Auburn. Depends on what happens this week against Georgia for the Tigers. But then they're at Vandy. They got Texas A&M. They got to go to Oklahoma. But Missouri's schedule is pretty weak. Arkansas, Mississippi State, Vandy. I guess you could say Auburn. Who knows? So from a schedule strength standpoint, their schedule is woo. They're facing reality. I'm telling you, if they beat Bama on Saturday, I might give them a little love. But to this point, this 13 FCS teams have a more difficult schedule than that. If I was a Missouri fan, I'd be embarrassed.
For these wins and stuff, they're like,
yes.
When Alabama comes in Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, battle between 2 top 15 teams, Bama fans, are you expecting to go to sold-out Faro Field and have the Missouri fans say, hey, man, we are so sorry. Hey, we apologize.
Faro Field?
Sorry, we apologize. I mean, I know. We're 5-0. We're kind of embarrassed about being sorry about this. No, of course not.
So I got to admit, I had to Google UCA. I asked Siri, what football team is UCA? It took her a minute, but she goes, University of Central Arkansas. I had to Google it.
That's what Siri does, and what ALEXA does. I got one in here, so I can't. Is that they'll do that, and they'll say, if you want, we can also set up no, I don't want that. I was like this, who is UCA? And she'll say, well, that's the University of Central Arkansas Bears in Conway, Arkansas. I know why you're asking that. If you want me to give you other suggestions as to why Missouri doesn't stand a snowball's chance in Hades against Alabama, please let me know.
Reference me on that one.
Jeez,
I'm thinking.
I like it. See, I am like, it may sound like I'm hot and bothered because, again, John has spent this past half hour disrespecting just about everybody that he has come in contact with on the program. A little bit of a to Missouri State, a little bit of a humiliating kick to the crotch to Middle Tennessee. I guess you can call this college football. That's an absolute slap at these guys who are working just as hard as Auburn and Alabama are, I promise you.
Yeah,
and their fans love them just as much.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden, Missouri 5-0. This
I'll be the first to tell you, Barry.
Reality is going to start this week.
Yeah. So if Missouri wins the game, I'll be on here Monday giving the love. I don't know. I just don't know about this team. I mean, have they been tested? No. Now, I believe South Carolina did put 20 points up against them. At least South Carolina gave them somewhat of a fight.
Heck, Kansas put up 31 on them.
Yeah. So Bama should be able to score.
Tigers are off to a 5-0 start for the 13th time in program history and for the second time in the past 3 seasons.
I mean, why don't you bring up the time Tony Galbraith ran all over him and beat him in 75 or 6?
Underneath, it was either the quarterback was either Pete Woods or Steve the Sark Pizarkowicz.
I think it was that. I think it was Pizarkowicz, whatever the guy's name.
Yeah.
Pizarkowicz,
right.
yeah.
So the disrespect, we'll take a small break. Don't worry, people.
I'm going to ask C.J. Duncan about that. That's one of the things I'm going to ask him when we get him on.
One of many things we're going to talk to C.J. Duncan about when Longshore McKnight continues in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air is excited to participate in our annual Catch Me in Pink campaign, raising money for cutting-edge breast cancer research. We partnered locally with the Joy to Life Foundation and Vera Bradley to help raise significant funds in support of the cause. Each week, we are giving away prizes locally in addition to our national grand prize, a tropical trip for 2. To enter, simply snap an USSI of you and a pink-clad Dixie employee and enter it on our website. Dixie will donate money for every photo that's submitted, and you will be entered to win big.
Drive away in a brand new Chevy Silverado Trail Boss or win your share of $25,000 in free play and cash during Victoryland Casino's Truck and Bucks giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Visit our Players Club and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino off I-85 exit 22 in Shorter, Alabama. Drawings November 7th and 8th. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
All righty, welcome back in, everybody. There we go. I got to get the Bud Light sign on. Sorry about that. I was so busy today letting the roofers in, I forgot to turn it on.
Yeah, you might be hearing, this might be the start of banging and stuff. All John's neighbors are going to be giving him the stink eye because the guys are out there working on his roof. There we go.
Yeah.
This morning. So you might be hearing some banging and all of that as we talk with C.J. Duncan from Yellowhammer News, who joins us here on Longshore and McKnight. CJ, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How y'all doing?
Doing really well. 30-14, CJ. I can imagine whenever Alexander had that 65-yard run at the very beginning, you were feeling pretty good about things. Give us an overall view of that contest in Tuscaloosa.
You know what? I was proud of the guys' performance, especially early on, that being Vanderbilt. We came out very tough, very resilient. I believe we had a couple of turnovers. I guess we had one interception and then a missed field goal that kind of got us going, got us rolling. Alexander scored, of course. But you know what? At this point, what we built this up to be, being the number 16 ranked team, we can't make any excuses, right? There are no moral victories in this thing. At the end of the day, you cannot turn the ball over twice in the opponent's in the red zone, in the opponent's territory. It's just unacceptable. And you know, our guys got to shine in these type of games when you're playing against very good teams, historically great teams. Your stars have to be stars. And I believe we've talked about it before on this show, and our stars were not stars. To be quite frank, you know, I'm shocked that we were as close as we were for, you know, our guys not to be playing like guys. And so there's some things that we got to clean up. There's a lot to feel good about, but we've got to clean up some things, and including penalties. I mean, since when does Vanderbilt have a bunch of personal fouls after the play? That's also unacceptable when you're trying to make history. And so we've got some things to clean up, but we're excited about what the future looks like for the rest of this season.
You know, CJ, I've watched a little bit of Vanderbilt this year, but didn't watch them up close like I did on Saturday. One of the first things that jumped out to me is that you can tell the eye test. This is a different Vanderbilt team. Big, physical, athletic. They looked like an SEC football team. I don't know if I've ever said that before. Just their stature and their build and their athletic ability, they look like they belonged on that field, and they look like they belonged in the SEC.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've got real dudes, and especially in the trenches. I think that, you know, at one point, our run defense was one of the top in the SEC prior to this weekend, and you could see toward the fourth quarter where Bama's kind of leaning on us a little bit. We're getting a little tired. Our backups aren't playing as much, and starters are getting worn out, and the run game starts to succeed for the Tide there at the end. But we've got real guys that can push guys around offensively and defensively. Even if you watch the season, Diego, he's scrambling because not because he has to, but probably because he wants to. He's got plenty of time back there, so I think that's the biggest difference from now and in the past. Is the guys in the trenches are real guys. They're big dudes that are aggressive, physical, and nasty.
CJ, what did you think of Alabama?
You know what? Alabama's who I thought they were. I think the more that Jam gets comfortable, gets his feet back right, the more he succeeds, I think the better the team will succeed. And I kind of mentioned that prior to the Georgia game. It's like it's all about Jam. I think this season's surrounded by Jam. I think that Ty Simpson has been playing incredible. He's probably one of the hottest quarterbacks in college football right this second. But I don't know that is sustainable. There's some inconsistency at the receiver position, and you also just don't want to put that much pressure on a guy who's a first-year starter. But I think as Jam goes, I think the offense goes, and so does that team. As a Vanderbilt fan, I saw some things where, if we just do our jobs as Commodores, I do truly believe that game turns out a lot different than it does. I think we gave that game away, and so that's why it hurts. I told a buddy of mine, I was like, man, I almost wish they beat us by 2 or 3 touchdowns. I hate the fact that we kind of gave it away in a sense. That hurts a little bit more. So
CJ, the fumble in the red zone, the interception in the red zone. That game could turn out a lot differently, but early in the game, if those turnovers don't happen.
Absolutely. It changed the whole momentum of the game. Yeah. And I tell people all the time, I tell my middle school kids, I said, guys, when you want to win a football game, it's how you close out the last 4 minutes of the first half and how you start the first 4 minutes of the second half. And we could not have done it worse on Saturday, but we're still in the game, in the fourth quarter, which is surprising to me. And that's why I think Bama still has some ways to go, because you got to put a team like Vanderbilt away. If we're making those kind of mistakes and we have those kind of penalties that put us behind the sticks on drives, and we're still and even at the end, if our preseason All-American tight end makes one of his 4 drops, that's a different game as well. Our guys weren't guys, and so I think for Bama, that part would be a bit concerning. It's like their guys didn't show up, and it was still right there for the taking.
After a week off, Vanderbilt has 2 ranked teams back-to-back in Nashville, LSU and Missouri. Does it change at all what you saw on Saturday when they played with great resolve? Does with the schedule ahead and what you saw last weekend, does that change all of the overall outlook for this Vanderbilt team?
No, it doesn't. Alabama was a great test, and like I said, historically, that game had a lot of hype to it, just based on the previous season, and
right.
Even when I was playing, we had that undefeated 3 or 4 game stretch, and then played Alabama in Nashville. So there was some historical context to that game this weekend, but we knew going into these next several games that this was our gauntlet. It doesn't let up anytime soon. We've got to quickly, clean some things up and move on to LSU. Garrett Nussmeier, potential first-round quarterback. They've got a very exciting receiving core and maybe one of the best defenses in the country. So that's going to be a huge test for us as well. Missouri's on a hot streak. We still have to play Texas at Texas. They're struggling right now, but you can't, you can't underestimate anyone. And then the big game at the end of the year. If we don't have one of the toughest schedules in the country, I don't know who does.
Well, I don't want to look ahead, but I can't wait for that Missouri Vanderbilt game.
Yeah.
I don't want to jump into that just yet because I want to get back into the Vandy Alabama situation. Diego Pavia didn't have his best game either, and what happened before the game that doesn't really. I don't really care. I mean, people talking and jacking up their team or trying to irritate the opponent. So what? I mean, I like the way the kid plays. He's confident. I think his players rally around him. I've never seen a player at Vanderbilt like him before.
Right. That's exactly right. We were sitting there watching the game, and funny enough, I was in Nashville, even though the game was in Tuscaloosa. I was supposed to be 40 minutes away or even at the game, but I ended up switching positions with the team due to my wife and her 10-year high school reunion. But I told the guys, I'm like, look, we've got to take the good with the bad. We can't love them one day and then hate them the next day because of the theatrics. We've got to love the good with the bad. And I think the biggest thing is the kind of person that he is. I think that he has a persona once he crosses those white lines. And that's what I've seen, and that's what I've been told, that, outside of the facilities, off the field, humble guy, happy to be there, willing to talk to anyone, just truly grateful for the position that he's in. But he has a switch that he flips, once he crosses the line, and he truly goes to chip on the shoulder, underdog mode. And it probably doesn't help that Johnny Manziel's on the sideline egging him on, So hopefully Johnny will go back to wherever he lives and leaves us alone for a little bit, so Diego can calmly enter a game and play with more poise than he did this past weekend.
We've had some commentary on this program. We've entertained some. It's not necessarily been ours. That this Georgia-Auburn game Saturday night in Auburn is maybe a make or break game for Hugh Freeze. Do you subscribe to that at all? Set this game up for us, maybe in that regard, CJ.
Sure. Yeah. You know what? I don't know why Georgia would be the make or break game. I don't necessarily see that per se. I do think it's a game that could help him. I don't know that it hurts him. I don't know that anyone's going into this game believing that Auburn truly is a better team. So I don't know how that counts against Hugh Freeze. But a win against Georgia, a rival at home, Cam Newton's jersey retirement, a lot of theatrics are going to be going on. I've seen crazier things happen in Jordan-Hare. So this would be very good for his resume and going, leading up into the next few games of their season. I think it'd be a big win. And it's good for recruiting. Auburn is known to recruit Georgia very heavily. So I think there's a lot of positive that can come from it, but I don't know that I would judge him completely off of this one game. I don't know that I would do that. I wouldn't do that.
One game should not determine his future. His whole body of work is one thing. But if they've made some decision, well, if he doesn't win, we're firing him Sunday. To me, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I don't agree with that. And I mean, look at, the season thus far. I think this Auburn team has looked different than the last two Auburn teams. I think they've looked a lot better. They kept it close against the Texas A&M team that is a top 5 team now. It's not like they're playing awful. And then Oklahoma game, as we all know, there was arguments about whether or not the refs were on the wrong side of things. But Auburn has looked like a different team. And if I'm, who am I? But if I'm the board of directors in this situation or the person making decisions, just eye test alone, Hugh Freeze has gotten this team ready to play this year. That's what I see. I think this team is better. Jackson has had his struggles, but overall as a team, I actually like this team. I really do. And maybe there's a time during this season where coach says, all right, Deuce, you're up. And maybe that gives them the juice that they need to kind of win a couple games in a row. But everywhere else on the team, I like what I'm seeing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe if they can just clean up the play calling and, get that offensive line to block a little bit better, Arnold to get the ball out quicker. You got to know they've been working on that, CJ, during this off week.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that, you've got so many talented receivers, with Singleton and Coleman, and they've got another guy out there that's super quick. I mean, even if you're running screens and you're running quick hitches, curls, any type of hitches or 5 yard, any type of quick action to help him get the ball out of his hands quicker, I think benefits him. I mean, that's what made Tom Brady Tom Brady. You couldn't sack him because he's getting the ball out quickly. And I think any quarterback that holds the ball for too long is going to get in trouble. And that's how you end up with 10 sacks in a game.
Now I've got to ask you about this. One of the other compelling games in the SEC is the Red River rivalry in Dallas, Oklahoma versus Texas. It's almost a cliche, CJ. Every year there's going to be a young quarterback that'll get hyped and will have his struggles, as all young quarterbacks do. My particular thing is that Arch Manning, it's not the hype that's getting to him. It's not the preseason expectations. He knew that going in. He needs some offensive linemen that'll keep people off of him right now. Are you surprised that Texas is struggling?
I am. I will say I am. I expected there to be some, of course, growing pains with Arch. I really did expect that, but not to this extent. Just for the simple fact that Arch has had, this is his first year being the full-time starter, but he's had opportunities to start games, especially in the SEC. So he's gotten his feet wet before, and they are ultra talented team, offensively and defensively. I mean, they've got NFL draft picks all over their defense. So did not necessarily expect them to struggle to this extent, but they've got a really good coaching staff. Sark is a good coach, and there's still time to turn it around. Florida loss is a bad loss, of course. This season is not going to be their season. They've gone from first to unranked. But Arch has said from the beginning, one, the hype is unwarranted. I haven't done anything yet. And he's always said that he's going to play all 4 years. So if we look at it from that perspective, we're just saying, okay, let him get all this out of the way now. Let him get all of his mistakes. Let him learn. Let him grow. If he's got a shoulder injury, which it looks like to me as a former athlete, that kid's shoulder hurts. If it hurts, let him get through the season, get it cleaned up in the off season, and start fresh next year. I'm okay with that. He's trying to be a Hall of Famer like his uncles, not just a Heisman Trophy winner. So his career is going to be a lot longer than 1 year, and so I'm gonna give him time to figure things out.
Even though Miami, the current number 1 ranked team, Notre Dame, and Virginia, 3 teams that are all ranked, even though the 3 of those teams do not have a ranked opponent on their schedule for the remainder of the season, I'm not going to put Missouri into that boat just yet, but I do want to get your thoughts about a Missouri team that Alabama is facing on Saturday morning that has played nobody. They have a schedule strength rank of 150. There are only 136 teams in FBS. Alabama's schedule strength is 4th. As a former player, how do you factor that in? I mean, is that a big advantage or is it no big deal? I got to think Missouri obviously is going to be playing the best team they've played so far. And maybe they're kind of hyped up and living on some dreams that maybe aren't reality because of their opposition so far.
I totally agree with you. I think that, this late in the season, not really having any type of test, I would not prefer that. I'd rather go ahead and get that test out of the way. I'd want to play against a legitimate team. It'll make me a lot more confident going into a game against Alabama. But if I play, excuse my words, like cream puff, the whole season, then
that's what we call them here, CJ. Yeah, that's exactly what we call them.
Like if we're just playing cream puffs, then it feels like we still hadn't made it out of camp yet. I need to feel some real SEC ball and some real competition before facing one of the best. And so this weekend's going to be a real test, and I think I'll expect Alabama to win this one pretty handedly. I think that even the Vanderbilt win, although it's Vanderbilt, it's not the Vanderbilt of old. I think it gave Alabama a lot of confidence. I think you could see how much it meant to Coach DeBoer on the sidelines. He was very animated during this game. I think that they're ready to go. I think they're going to try to use the momentum from this Vanderbilt game to send a message to Missouri and the rest of the SEC.
This is always one of our most popular segments every week. All of them are popular. This is one of the best. CJ Duncan from Yellowhammer News. We always appreciate your time and what you do for our show. Thanks very much.
Thanks, guys. See you all next week. Have a good weekend.
You too, buddy. Thank you so much. You're right about that, Barry. Our viewers and listeners love our segment with CJ. We get a lot of great positive feedback on our River Region Straw chat line, our email inbox, longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. You can enter and, of course, submit your picks for the Marguerite's Diamond giveaway. Of course, 2 big games, Bama at Missouri, Auburn hosting Georgia. Give us the score in those games. And if you hit one of those 2 games, you're going to win a $500 1-carat lab-grown diamond, and it gets you in the drawing for the national championship. Well, the winner there is getting a 1-carat natural cut diamond valued at $3,000. Submit your picks anytime during the week, but have them in before kickoff on Saturday. Bama's at 6:30, Auburn at 6:45. So you got a little extra time to get them in before the kickoff on Saturday night. But get them in. We've seen some numbers, Barry, some picks that are getting closer and closer to that actual outcome. Last week, not so much, but the week before we had some really close ones.
Yeah, people are starting to kind of draw a bead on who's good, who's contenders, who's pretenders. John says Alabama may be facing one of the latter on Saturday
I think CJ
morning.
thinks so, too.
We'll find that at Cream Puffs. Ouch.
I would have called him something else, but,
Yeah, and has before. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. Don't forget, coming up, Brent Vinson at the top of our second live hour from Phoenix Physical Therapy. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the River region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 7 minutes or so to the top of the hour. Barry mentioned it. Brent Vinson, Phoenix Physical Therapy, going to join us here for our weekly medical segment. Barry, I don't have the exact numbers, but I think I'm close.
All right.
Hugh Freeze is 5-13 against SEC competition since he's been at Auburn.
I could look that up, but I think that's true.
5-13, I believe. I don't believe he has beaten a top 20 program.
Like ever?
Since he's been at Auburn.
Yeah. That can't be true.
I'm trying to think of what top 20 program.
All right.
Texas, was A&M a top 20 program last year, that overtime win?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, if he has, he hasn't beaten many.
Okay.
Since he's been at Auburn. 5-13 against the SEC.
I do think that number is right. The other number, I cannot authoritatively say, no, John, you're full of beans.
Yeah.
Although that is usually my tendency.
And if somebody can tell me the top 20 team that they've beaten, I'm not trying to be cute. I'm just looking for the answer. Looking for the answer. All right. So here's my question. Just curious, because I want to, just curious. If Auburn wins Saturday night, Jordan Hare, Eagles flying, bands going crazy, light show, the whole deal. They got it going on over there. If Auburn wins the game Saturday night as a 3.5-point underdog, 4.5 in some spots.
Yeah.
Do the fans rush the field?
No.
I say they do. I say the fans rush the field if Auburn wins the game on Saturday. There again, night game, liquored up. Everybody's excited.
Man, they're headed to Toomer's Corner.
They'll do that afterwards.
Yeah. It's, as you know, it's hard to rush the field at Auburn. John was standing on the sidelines at the Kick 6 game, and he's looking at some of these, some of these older ladies, not old, but, mothers of students, wearing the high-heeled shoes and the tight jeans and their hair all coiffed up and everything. And they're thinking they're edging towards the edge of that hedge from the top step, the top seats. And John is saying to the cameraman, hey, let's check this. Ain't no way. She's not going to. Oh. And I mean, she plunges in. I mean, she totally disappears into the hedge. It's not
I
like
think she still might be there.
Can somebody check? I mean, can you run a chopper there and send out a life?
Well, here's the
hard
deal.
to rush the field at Auburn unless you do it from the end zones.
Yeah, that is easy street. The end zones are so close to the field and so low to the field. It doesn't take any effort. And I know they got those rent-a-cops up there trying to tell you don't do it. It ain't going to help. A couple of guinea pigs are going to go out there first. They'll get tackled and taken away, and it's over. And there's the lady right there. That's probably the one I saw. Oh, yeah, that's a little kid. Look at these people. Yeah, no sweat. They will rush the field if they beat Georgia. You heard it here first. 5-13 against conference opposition. I still hadn't found out if they've beaten a top 20 team since Freeze has been there. If they had, I'd like to know who it is. But Baylor wasn't a top 20 team this year, were they? I don't think they were.
I don't think so.
But that wasn't
20,
home.
Nobody. Top 25 is what I'm.
Top 25.
Nobody calls top 20.
So they're going to rush the field. Yeah. Because it's a night game, Barry. Who's going to take toilet paper to the game?
They will roll Toomer's Corner.
Yeah, the people that aren't at the game will go roll Toomer's Corner.
Everybody's going to be they're going to be at the game. They're all going to be at Toomer's Corner. All right, here's the deal. And again, beating a ranked team is hard. I don't know that.
Alabama's just beaten 2 in a row, but go ahead.
It's still
Auburn third coming up on Saturday.
Has it been easy? I say no. But Auburn takes on its 4th straight top 20 opponent.
Yeah.
Funny how somebody doesn't mention that. Hey, Missouri will come to town next Saturday. So they haven't won the last 2 top 20 games.
Yeah.
But you're not going to find anything negative about Hugh Freeze in the Auburn game notes. Auburn against, here we go, against top 10 opponents in its history, Auburn has won 59 games.
Oh, wow.
They've lost 116, but they've won 59 against top 10 teams. Auburn at Jordan Hare Stadium, 25-33-2.
We don't have a Hugh Freeze stat, though, of how many top 25 teams he's beaten.
You've got. Can we get one of the roofers to come in here and look and see if John's got a computer?
Hey, Pedro.
Hey,
come on in.
Can we come in and take a look? I love it how John puts it. Hey, we don't know that yet. Well, I don't know that. I don't know about but
well, Barry, I think you made a good point. You do all the time. And it kind of goes to something I just kind of slipped in. I don't know if people caught that. Miami, Notre Dame, and UVA do not have one single top 25 team on their team schedule the remainder of the year. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Alabama's about to play their third straight, be their fourth straight next week when Tennessee comes to town. Auburn's doing the same thing. They're playing their third straight, and in Missouri's next week, they'll still be in the top 25 unless they get beat 60-0. Well, who knows? But here, Auburn and Alabama are playing all these ranked teams back to back to back to back, and a lot of teams in the SEC are doing it. How is that going to affect these teams in the SEC later in the year when it comes to playoff seeding and they're 9-3, but they played all these top 25 teams, and Notre Dame, Miami, and UVA have not?
Ain't going to affect them at all. And Utah, I think this is overblown. I think the new metric or the new algorithm that they're talking about with the college football playoff, I think that is just a bunch of hooey. It may add some weight, John, but I don't think anybody, if it comes that close to being the number 12 team or the number 13, I don't think anybody is going to be kicked out because they only have 3 top 25 teams on their schedule and somebody else had 4.
But didn't they adjust the matrix, if you will, to schedule strength? Wasn't that a new thing that they're really going to emphasize?
Did, but it does not much. And I love it. This is what John and Barry do. Like, you can put both of us together and cube it, and we are not as smart as Brent Vincent by himself. But this is what already in this little talk, when John and I are talking about getting into the college football playoff, I've already mentioned algorithm. John's mentioned quotient. John's mentioned matrix. We mentioned quotient.
Don't forget data points.
And none of us know what that means. John, you can ask John, hey, John, what does Matrix mean? Oh, great movie. Keanu Reeves, Lawrence Fishburne. A Matrix. The algorithm for the college football playoff has changed. Number one, we don't know how it's changed. Number two, we don't know what algorithm means. So,
well, I will say this, Barry. People tell me, hey, hit the like and subscribe button because it helps with our algorithm. That's just what they tell me to say.
Mine's been hurting lately, man. If it can help with my algorithm, it's been. Maybe if I do some sit-ups or river. Yeah. I don't know.
I couldn't tell you what an algorithm is either.
Yeah, but it sounds good. John says, the way John says it, he might be like on PBS with a fire by his in his fireplace and with a smoking jacket and a pipe, and said, has the matrix been adjusted? And everybody would be like, wow, John, matrix.
How about that?
Well, go on further, John. Tell us why the matrix.
Oh, let's ask Brent Vincent from Phoenix Physical Therapy, their Wetumpka location. Brent, can you fix an algorithm? Do you know what those are?
I tell you, man, that's not my skill set. I can do my best to try to help y'all with that, but it's not definitely not my forte to fix algorithms. I can fix a knee or a hip or a shoulder, but as far as an algorithm, that's kind of above my pay grade.
Yeah, we hear. As a matter of fact, sometimes whenever we talk with our people at Phoenix Physical Therapy, they're talking about clavicles and tibias and anterior cruciates and stuff like that. John and I will nod our heads and go, yeah, man. Boy, they
can fix them.
I don't know. Yeah. Brent Vincent, Phoenix Physical Therapy, the location up in Wetumpka. How are things in Wetumpka this morning?
Man, things are great up here in Wetumpka this morning. It's been a blessing to get started, get things going, take care of some people, and got a gym full of people wanting to get better this morning. So that's awesome. So excited to be here.
Last week with Robert, we talked about Quay Russo, the player at Alabama that's from Montgomery, had a foot injury. Auburn also experiencing that with Horatio Fields. I'm wondering a couple things. Are foot injuries becoming more common, and are there different types of foot injury? Because Robert explained with Quay, it seemed to be an injury on the the far side, I guess the pinky side of the foot that is kind of hard.
He had a name for it, but
yeah, I couldn't tell you. I think it's algorithm or something. But tell us the different levels of foot injuries, because we're seeing a lot of these lately.
Well, a lot of times with the foot is a complex area of the body. Obviously, from your ankle joint where your lower leg bones, your tibia and fibula kind of combine around that talus. From that joint right there all the way down to your toes, those tissues are under a lot of stress when it comes to athletics. And so you have, pushing, planting, jumping, cutting, loading on that area. So it puts it at risk for, ligament sprains, sort of soft tissue injuries, contusions. A lot of times those, joints, because you're dealing with multiple joints, a lot of times it's really a miracle that things don't happen more often with the feet, particularly at a high level of athletics, but even at the middle school level, you can have stuff. Now with surface changes, a lot of times that can create just different forces on the feet. When you have big people moving fast and moving through space at a very high velocity, but changing direction, think about something like Quay or these guys that are on the defensive line. I mean, they're getting hit and loading with a lot of force, and they're pushing off a very small surface. Think about the foot compared to the rest of your body. That puts those tissues under a lot of stress, and things get strained and sprained. And so you talk about different injuries. You can have, from an ankle sprain, which we've talked a lot about, to a midfoot sprain, to even just a soft tissue strain or a fracture. If something overloads enough, you can actually create a fracture issue in that foot. And that's when you start seeing more surgical intervention, but even just more immobilization, booting, and longer time out of sports.
Right. I know we've talked before about equipment. It seems today that, players are favoring wearing biker pants instead of the padded trousers that we've normally seen. This happened before the season. I can't believe I'm only remembering it now. I was in the Troy equipment room, and they're showing me all the latest stuff and everything. And they showed me a pair of the new cleats. Yeah. And, there's different cleats for offensive linemen. I say cleats, shoes, footwear for offensive linemen. He said it's amazing. He handed me a pair of shoes for a wide receiver. And I swear you could see through them. And he says, yeah, they want it light. They want it thin. If they could get kangaroo skin, they would, because they want to be light on their feet. Is some of the foot injuries that we've seen could it be attributed maybe to equipment, Brent?
I think so. I mean, I think there's definitely a lot of science and a lot of attention that's put into making and manufacturing that footwear. But also, like you said, the desire for athletes to be less encumbered by their gear, whether it be their shoes, their pants. I mean, I go back to, the good old days of molded cleats. I remember when they went from molded cleats to screw-on cleats. I know when we were playing at Crampton Bowl back in the day at JD, depending on the surface we played on, we could have, screw-on cleats from a half inch to an inch to a 2-inch cleat. And so that was high tech back then, but the shoe itself was heavy, bulky. And I think this is the desire for athletes to be minimal, and minimalistic. It has, I would say, you're trading off, just like with a car, right? We want fast cars, but we don't want stability when you get in a wreck. Everything wants to be, plastic and versus steel bumpers. And so that trade-off, I think we're seeing that increase in injuries in the foot and even foot and ankle because of, less support, because we want speed. But, if that's what athletes want, that's what people are buying, then, supply and demand,
Brent, if I'm not mistaken, the company that made those screw-on cleats when we were at Jeff Davis was Rydell.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
they made the shoe and they made the helmet, so it was like top to bottom. So it was so I think those days of just having support on your feet and being able to compete and run and cut now because of trends, because of customizing shoes, even at the collegiate level, we'll start seeing shoes that are customized with scripture on them, with, a saying on them, or even some kind of graphics, that desire to have that kind of look because now it's brandable and whatever, now is sacrificing maybe the risk for maybe a foot injury because of less support.
If you have, and again, this is all theoretical, if there's somebody like Quay Rousseau and he has a foot injury, it's just the foot. You can still, stay in shape. You can still work out. You can still do all of that stuff. But what's the 2 or 3 weeks after the foot injury look like for him in order to stay in shape, or in order, what would be your generalized advice and approach for rehabbing a foot injury?
Well, and like you said, just like every injury that happens, every injury is an important injury. So particularly when you have, regardless if it's a, collegiate athlete or just a Joe Blow like you and I, we want to make sure that, you attack it from an inflammatory standpoint. You want to attack it from a strength and mobility standpoint. Even if they're injured, you want to start next day, with that rehabilitation process to help promote healing, promote decreased pain and inflammation. Obviously sometimes there's a mobilization of the foot, but you going, like you said, Barry, the rest of the body you're working. You're getting on the bike, you're getting in the pool if you can. You're getting upper body workout stuff, abs, core, trunk. All the things you can do that don't load the foot, but ultimately allow the body to keep working because you're still in that mindset of recovery, total body, which ultimately helps your foot get better because now you're promoting blood flow, you're promoting oxygenation to the area to help promote healing. While you're resting the foot. And then ultimately you're working back toward return to play.
That leads me to another point that I've seen that I did not know about. My association with Troy has really been helpful because I love the athletic trainers there. But you see a lot of times, I don't know the word for it, Brent, but it's electrical stimulation of the foot. What is that blood flow? Is that what you're talking about?
There's different modalities. We call them, in the world of rehabilitation, there's modalities from electrical stimulation to ultrasound to ionizophoresis. Those are things that we can use treatment-wise. Now, some of those treatments are a little more evidence-based. There's a lot of evidence to support the physiological use of those. Some things are just tried and true. They've been used for years. The science may not support them, but the outcome happens because we use them. And so, those are things we can use to decrease pain, increase blood flow to the area, promote tissue healing through all those things. And so now we use cupping, we can use some taping, we can use different fascial tissue like scraping to help promote blood flow, but move tissue. And so that way we're promoting, ultimately it's all pointing toward healing of the body. So, and a lot of that science and research now with regard to recovery is helpful because now we have more tools for our toolbox than when I first started practicing 20 years ago. It was a little more, I would say old school, but it was, hey, this is what's worked. Now we have more, just more of a recovery mindset and tools to use the things that have come on in the last decade.
Let's switch over to ACL injuries. We hear a lot about that, Brent, but we seem to hear more of it with high school and college athletes and in NFL. Is there kind of an age when you start getting to that, or do you see ACL injuries with kids like playing YMCA football? I mean, grammar school kids, 7th and 8th graders, or is it mainly juniors and seniors in college and NFL guys?
Usually it tends to be more in your like early high school up. You don't see a lot of ACL injuries in your pediatric patients, like you say, your Y League or Red basketball, the YMCA, or even AAU or whatever they're playing. And, and a lot of it has to do with just anatomy and physiology. So you have, a less risk of, because, the forces they're running with and cutting with and playing with are not as great per se at a younger age. Their body weight to their force production is not as a good ratio. But also just their ligaments are a little more sort of sustainable. They have a little more pliability, when you're younger. And so you don't see as much tears or many tears in a younger population. Now, when you get a little older, in sort of their late teenage years, because of the nature of the sports they're playing, their body mass gets a little bit bigger because they're working out and getting a little stronger. Their force production in their lower half and trunk is a little bit greater because now they're getting stronger and they're getting more dynamic. both in males and females, start seeing more of an increased risk. There was years ago when there was a bunch of research put into figuring out the why we're seeing this in female athletics, male athletics. And that is something we're constantly researching and trying to figure out. But I think a lot of it has to do with size of athletes, dynamic sort of sports they're playing, and just the force production of stopping, starting, and cutting that creates those injury risks across the board.
This is what dovetails into what I was going to ask, what you're talking about. We're still learning. We're still studying. You've been at this, like you said, 20 years or more. Phoenix Physical Therapy, with all the locations, has all of this state-of-the-art stuff. But even with all of your experience and with all of the technology that you guys have employed and utilized, there's never a point where Brent Vincent sends back and says, finally, I know everything I need to know. I've got everything we're ever going to need in terms of equipment and technology. It's always changing, isn't it, Brent?
It is. And that's honestly, that's the exciting part. No day's the same day. And so, when you come into the clinic in the morning and you got to have your mindset of what's going to happen, what's going to come in the door, you're constantly reinventing yourself. You're constantly thinking about, hey, what can I learn? We just got through doing our continuing education for this year for physical therapy. Did a bunch of courses and kind of just learning some new things about what's out there research-wise. Evidence-based practice is becoming a big part of what we do clinically, looking at current trends, current research, just refreshing what you've learned. And so someone like me, an old dog, learning new tricks to be able to help patients get better. And we always try to do that. We've got students that come in who are currently in school, who are doing rotations with us. I'm constantly picking their brains, and they don't believe it, but I'm like, you're smarter than I am because you're learning the current stuff that's out there and looking at it and analyzing it so you can teach me things. Because when you get in that groove, I don't care what job you do, when you get in that groove, you kind of tend to just do what you do. And so we're always trying, all of our clinics, to constantly kind of trying to keep up with the next thing that's always out there. Now, some of that's trendy, some of that's not evidence-based and proven yet, but we want to be aware of it. That way, ultimately, if it helps our patients get better, makes us better clinicians, we want to utilize it.
Brent, let me ask you, I've had some people ask me about this. Whether it's a weekend warrior, a guy running down the street, playing tennis, pickleball, or an athlete on a Friday night, how important is it to, I guess, cool down or maybe stretch, whatever? You just don't walk off the field and get in your car. I mean, I don't do it. I hear a lot of people think, hey, man, when you get through running, then go walk up and down the block a little bit to kind of just ease your muscles and cool down a little bit. How important is that with just really anything from a strenuous activity, maybe just a light walk?
I mean, definitely letting your body recover. Recovery is huge. And a lot of that comes, like you said, it's just sort of walking it out, light stretching, a little light dynamic movement. Whether if you play around the golf and you're just walking to the car, maybe before you get off, get in your car, just do a couple of stretches, just kind of the same things you did before you got on that first tee. Do a couple of those little warm up and cool down. Even though you're warming up, you're moving your body in a very sort of slow down mobility way to help just sort of rest that area, promote blood flow, kind of keep things from tightening up. Because how it is, you play around in golf, you get in the car, you drive home. By the time you get home, you get out of the car, you can't hardly move. You're stowed up.
Tell me about it.
So a lot of times, even on a healthy athlete with no problems, a 17-year-old kid, it's important to post game just to go through a little bit of a decompression movement pattern, and just kind of helps your body sort of get rid of some of that lactic acid, helps your body sort of with the lymphatic system, because you're breaking your body down when you're competing. And so taking advantage of that, not only from a movement standpoint, even just from a diet standpoint, from a hydration standpoint, drinking afterwards to kind of help your body flush out those sort of chemicals that build up or are a byproduct of activity are huge. The next 2 days, you want to drink before you compete, to hydrate on the front end, but ultimately you want to hydrate afterwards to let your body rest, sleep, eating the right foods after you perform to help you recover. Like on a Saturday or Sunday after a Friday night football game, you don't want to, and when you're younger, you can get by with it. You can your body doesn't freak out. when you get in your 20s and 30s and definitely in your 40s and 50s, that ability to recover, you need some extra help. You got to be more intentional about it.
Physical therapist Brent Vinson, the clinic director at the Wetumpka location of Phoenix Physical Therapy. Locations all throughout. We always say the good starting point is online at phoenixphysicaltherapy.com. How do they contact you out in the Wetumpka area, Brent?
Well, if you're up in my area, obviously call the clinic. 334-478-3543 is our number. Call the clinic. If you're not from Wetumpka and you're from an area outside, you can call that clinic, and I'll put you in contact with one of our clinical directors at those clinics. Like I said, we're throughout the river region, like you said, Barry, from Wetumpka to Troy to Greenville to Prattville to Selma to Auburn. Montgomery's had a couple locations, even Alex City. So those are all locations that we're wanting to serve our communities. And so anytime we can put people in contact with the right people and get taken care of and get some good outcomes, but ultimately get taken care of and serviced and resourced in a way that helps them answer their questions.
Brent, we had some high compliments. Our friend Chris out at the Hertz counter at Montgomery Regional Airport let us know, man, he just, double thumbs up with Phoenix Rehab there in Wetumpka.
Yeah.
We appreciate our people. We love our communities, and it's a blessing to get to do what we get to do every day. So hopefully we continue to service our areas and take care of our folks.
Well, it's a blessing to have you on when we get the chance on Wednesdays at Phoenix Physical Therapy. Brent Vinson in the Wetumpka location. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Y'all too now. Y'all be blessed.
You too, my man. Thank you so much, Brent Vinson. Phoenix Physical Therapy, our Phoenix Physical Therapy medical therapy segment each and every week presented by our good friends at Phoenix Physical Therapy. Getting you back in the game is what Phoenix Physical Therapy is all about. All right, a lot more to get to here today on the program at about 21 minutes past the hour. I guess we'll go into the Daily Dog segment when we return. I've got some more thoughts about the upcoming games coming up this weekend. I'm sure there's a lot of other people with thoughts about it as well. Major League Baseball, yeah. I know the Braves aren't in it, but hey, and speaking of that, did the Braves can their manager? Did I see that? What happened with that guy?
Canned. He stepped away. He retired. He retired. Snitker had been there for a long time. It was a retirement.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, Braves fans. Bobby Cox ain't walking through that door. It ain't happening.
Who was it? One on our chat line was saying it's a former Aub that's going to get that job, maybe? Is it going to be David Ross? Oh, yeah. An Auburn man maybe about to be named manager of the Braves.
That'd be real interesting. That'd give me a whole new twist on my thought about Braves baseball.
Well, we've got to take a break right here. Again, the Phantoms Daily Dog is coming up. Couple of people are saying it's not so bad. You can hear a couple of hammers in the background, all that kind of stuff.
They're going at it. I asked Pedro if he could quiet it down. I don't think he understood me, but hey, they're going at it.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Extra, extra. The referral perks just doubled at Dixie. Now through November 30th, get $50 for you and $50 off for your friend when you refer them to Dixie. That's a $100 value. Current Dixie customers get 10% off any repair just for being loyal. Dixie Cares Plan members get an unbeatable 20% off. Plus, you can finance anything over $250. Double the rewards, double the savings.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It's the Drive into Fall event at Stivers. Rams 21 grand off or 13 grand off plus 0% for 60 months. Heavy duty Rams $9,500 off plus 0% for 60 months.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
It's the Drive into Fall event at Stivers. Gladiators, 10 grand off. Wranglers, 12 grand off. And 3-row Grand Cherokees, 13 grand off. Or 0% for 60 months.
Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where Price sells new cars and trucks in Prattville.
Okay, back at it here, about 24 minutes past the hour. Let's just get to this quick so we can get it over with. It has not been a good week so far for the Daily Dog, I got to tell you. Postseason baseball has just got me, I don't know what it is. Whew, I thought this would be a little bit easier to handicap.
The good news is that if he chooses, and I'm not presupposing anything in the Phantom's Daily Dog, but if he so chooses, today, and we already mentioned this, Missouri State at Middle Tennessee tonight in college football. Liberty at UTEP tonight in college football. This tonight begins a run of 49 straight days of football.
Oh, boy.
MACtion is back for the MAC and Wednesday. 49 straight days starting tonight with either an NFL game or a college football game or both every single day through November 25th.
I got some Tuesday night action coming, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, that might be good. I got to tell you this, Barry. I'll be up front. I don't know a ton about baseball, but I don't know anything about these teams that are playing tonight. So
this is a big night tonight. I watched baseball last night. I watched the Mariners and the Tigers. 2 o'clock this afternoon, Mariners and the Tigers again. 4 o'clock, Brewers at the Cubs. That's on TBS. 6 o'clock, Blue Jays at the Yankees, FS1. And 8 o'clock, Phillies at the Dodgers. This is a cornucopia of activity. You've got 2 football games tonight in college. You've got 4 Major League Baseball games. It's an embarrassment of riches for the Phantom to choose from.
Well, it really is, Barry. I mean, I'm thinking, do I go baseball tonight? You know, it's been a little tough in the baseball, or do I go one of these games tonight? It's been a tough call, but I've done a little research, and we are thinking about some football tonight.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about the game tonight because UTEP is an underdog catching 1.5 in this game tonight.
At home.
And I'm a little concerned about it because their quarterback, he's been prone to throw the ball to the wrong team lately.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah.
If I'm a bettor, I hate that guy.
Yeah, he's been known to throw. As a matter of fact, he's thrown a total of 8 interceptions in his last 3 games.
Holy moly!
Yeah, and if he can play clean, then I think UTEP can take care of a little business tonight. I mean, I don't know what they've been doing this week to get him to throw it to the. And one other thing, UTEP's jerseys are a lot different from Liberty, so he should not have a problem distinguishing what team he should be throwing the ball to.
Hey, it also will make it easier for the Phantom when he goes and looks at SportsCenter the next day to know whether or not that team is looking good or not. It also helps the Phantom to know this in the morning, and I'll go ahead and help him out here. When you're checking the score, it's Conference USA.
Conference USA.
That. Okay. Sometimes
Liberty 1-4 straight up and against the spread so far this year. They're laying points on the road with a record like that. I don't think so. We're taking the Miners to win the game outright tonight at home as a 1.5-point underdog.
I like
that
it.
Is your Phantom's Daily Dog. UTEP plus the points at home tonight against Liberty. And I'll tell you this, Barry, real quick. If Malachi Nelson throws a pick in the first 2 minutes for UTEP, I'm out.
Right. Yeah. Malachi Nelson, we may remember him, probably don't. He was a 5-star quarterback recruit, much ballyhooed, signed with USC, and didn't play. So he transferred to Boise State.
Ooh, been on the road.
5-star quarterback, Boise State. Woohoo! Didn't play. Now he's at UTEP, and now we understand why he didn't play. Maybe he's colorblind, but he has always had a problem with, as John says, throwing the ball to the wrong colored jersey.
7 o'clock, CBS Sports Network from Sun Bowl Stadium in El Paso tonight, expecting a crowd of less than 15,000, but who cares?
Well, that's because it'll be on CBS Sports Network with Alex Del Barrio, who's no
from that
relation.
raunchy chick from the barrio?
I knew he'd say that. That was one of my favorite Romeisms about an obscure women's tennis player named Arantxa Sanchez Vicario. And Romy called her the raunchy chick from the barrio. That's not good. Alex Del Barrio and Adam Brenneman on the call tonight. That's about all we can squeeze out of Liberty versus UTEP in the Phantoms.
So we're getting off the baseball train. We're going to get off of that.
I think the baseball train left the station.
Yeah.
A while
left the station
ago.
And jumped the track. So UTEP is our daily dog catching 1.5 at home tonight against Liberty. What has Liberty done since Hugh Freeze has left? I don't hear a lot about Liberty.
That's because they haven't been very good under new head coach Jamie Chadwell. I love this pick with UTEP, by the way. When we come back, our money line magician, we had heard, and it's going to be hard for us to get used to, we have heard that we'll be joined by Josh Harris in Atlanta.
Yeah, he's in the United States, I believe. He is back. He is back home. Yes,
he is in civilization. Well, Georgia. We'll have him when we return. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
All guests of Longshore McKnight appear on the City of Montgomery guest hotline. Check out the most interesting and informed personalities in sports covering Auburn, Alabama, Troy, ASU, and all the major teams from across the country. John and Barry have the best guests brought to you by the City of Montgomery. To find out everything you need to know that is going on in the capital city, check out montgomeryal.gov. That's montgomeryal.gov, the capital of dreams.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. All righty, welcome back in, everybody. About 28 minutes to the top of the hour on this Wednesday. Great show so far with CJ Duncan, Yellowhammer News, Brent Vincent from Phoenix Physical Therapy. We're going to keep it going right here with our man Josh Harris, the money line magician. Josh, I got to tell you, I don't know what side you were playing on that Bama-Vandy game, but, man, what about that, oh, by the way, late score by Jam Miller to take it to 30?
That was big time, baby.
Yeah.
We were sitting there at the bar. I didn't take any action on it. My little brother did, and we were just sitting there. We were going, do it for Ben, for Ben, for Ben.
Yep. We ain't taking no knee here.
No.
Yeah.
No, not after kneeling in the end zone before the game.
Here's the thing that Kalen DeBoer has learned as the head coach at Alabama. Don't wear shirts with the sleeves cut and all this kind of stuff looking ratty. And at the end of the game, when you are up 9 and you got a chance, you give it to your best running back and you guys block your brains out for him, okay? That's how you get popular at Alabama. It ain't wins over Vanderbilt necessarily, but it's covers over Vanderbilt that surely help.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We have it's incredible. The amount that we if we can just keep covering, there's going to be some happy fans.
You know
what?
To a sports bar.
The black hoodie's 12-1 in the black hoodie. Just letting you know. I mean, people are keeping up with that.
Yeah, they are. People are crazy.
I don't know because I've never bet, but in a sports bar, I've seen it before. I'm eating my wings and drinking my iced tea and watching some of the games, and all of a sudden you'll see a table over there wearing like Buccaneers uniforms, all the guys, hats on backward and everything, and all of a sudden you'll hear them, hey, like that. I look over, and the Bucs are down 4. I'm thinking, what are they doing? It's because of people like John and like Josh that now my wife will look and says, what's up with them? I said, I think they just covered.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That does happen.
My wife knows.
Do it for Ben is hilarious,
No, my wife knows what a cover is. She knows when I'm getting really excited on some action or something like that. Just she'll get in bed and say, who do we have?
I love it.
That's
a great woman
of Ohio.
Yeah, that's a great woman, honey. Who we got tonight? Love it.
Put this into perspective. Before the game, admit it, people were nervous as heck about the Vanderbilt game and everything. When it's over, cover, you win by 16. Is it full on, yes, we're back? Or, you were worried about Vanderbilt before, but can you really celebrate a win over Vanderbilt afterwards? What's the context of that win?
I was celebrating. We celebrate them all now.
There you go.
We celebrate them all now. There's number one, all the teams are pretty good. Vandy is good, right? They're a good team. We can't take it for granted anymore. Week in and week out, it's tough in the SEC. It's tough this weekend against Missouri, coming off a bye. It's tough. You look at our schedule, the remaining schedule. Every single team, we have 4 teams coming off a bye in our remaining schedule, and then Auburn comes off an FCS opponent. So we've got a tough schedule remaining. So anything is a good win right now. It's not just because Alabama, we were tough at the beginning of the year. It's because all the teams are good this year. Nothing's
John.
easy.
So
that's
Bama's
healthy, John. That's healthy. That's a healthy outlook.
But, Josh, Bama wins Saturday. They're certainly going to utilize the fact, we beat an undefeated team. I'm telling you, there's another one we've beaten, ranked, undefeated, blah, 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 which I would do it too. But when you peel the layers of the onion back, Missouri hadn't played anybody. They have the schedule strength of 150. There are only 136 FBS schools. There are 14 other schools that are in FCS with stronger schedules than Missouri. And this line is at 2.5, 3 points. You kidding me? I mean, Missouri's, this Ahmad Hardy's leading the nation in rushing. Hell, I could too against that schedule.
I love this.
I do. Now that we're on the line of the Alabama game this week, I like an alternate line. I mean, it's 2.5, go 10, get some odds on it. I mean, this is, and it is scary because it's a different era that we live in, but this is class. Missouri's been like this for the last couple of years. They'll have a good start and then they'll just start getting killed, right? So it's hopefully it continues to go that way and we continue to have the momentum that we have, and DeBoer continues to keep the team excited, which is something that we didn't see in the Florida State game. We've seen in every other game, but he's learning quick. At least it appears that he's learning quick on what to do, how to fix his mistakes, how to fix the team mistakes, and really has the team looking like they're in season hitting their stride. Not practice, not recruiting. We're seeing it in season hitting the stride, and we need to just keep it up.
Isn't hitting the stride in the fight song, John? Something like that?
That's plucking grit.
Hitting the stride.
Yeah.
All right, it's lighthearted, and Josh is very entertaining and very provocative, and we always have a good time and everything. It's time for a hard question, a really tough one. I don't want to put you on the spot, but who do you root for in Auburn, Georgia?
Auburn. I was at Whitehall a bar. And no, I'm telling you, it is these Georgia fans living in Atlanta. They're horrendous. I was at a bar on Saturday watching the game. Usually I watch it at my house or we'll go over to a buddy's, but I went into a bar with two friends and my wife. We were in there, all Georgia fans and us. People are screaming in my face when Vandy scores, barking at me when Vandy scored. Like, I'm just trying to have a beer and watch a game. I wasn't, believe it or not, I wasn't obnoxious yet. Better believe I got obnoxious. So we're going. We want Auburn to win this game. I mean, let
me ask you this: night game, Jordan Hare, Eagles flying, light show, bands playing, things are going great. Freeze is 5-13 in SEC play. They upset the Dogs Saturday night. Do they storm the field?
Yeah, probably. They love trying to jump over those bushes. They any
accent on the word trying.
Yeah, they're going to try and jump over those bushes. Some people are going to fall in it. They're going to go litter all over the place like they do after they win. And then, it's not a great win. I'm not really pulling for Georgia. It's kind of a lose-lose. I'm pulling for Auburn, but it's
kind of like when Auburn and Tennessee play. I mean, from an Alabama standpoint, who you want to win?
Anybody. Georgia right now is just really on my nerves. It's tough living here.
What do you think? I mean, they had kind of a workmanlike effort last week against Kentucky, who's really struggling. Georgia doesn't seem like Georgia to me.
Yeah, I mean, they seem like Georgia to me, taking the L to us. That's pretty normal. So
yeah,
and then their defense doesn't look as strong as it usually does. I'm not sold that they're not going to have a great year and end up playing us in the championship.
Well, if it does happen, and it's keyed by, of course, a win over Auburn at Auburn on Saturday in the oldest continuous rivalry in the Deep South. And if they win big, is that it for Hugh Freeze?
It ought to be. It ought to be. I mean, he hadn't. I mean, it's. I was talking to a buddy the other day. It's just amazing the coaches that Auburn's fired in the past. I mean, you take Chizik right now. You definitely take Malzahn. There were some good coaches that Saban ran out of town. We don't have to go down that road, but it's pretty crazy. They need.
Yeah, we call that Sabanated.
Right. Wait, Pavia though? We've skipped this part.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've already talked about it. It's Wednesday now. But he's the only player on Vandy that did not play well. I mean, other than that was the most incredible thing. That is what we should have done to Florida State when they ran their mouth. I mean, he is he as good as people? I mean, he had a great game. He decided to pick Johnny Manziel as his mentor, which is, what a poor choice there. I mean, come on.
And as C.J. Duncan pointed out, Barry, I didn't really realize this. The tight end dropped 4 passes. Did he?
Yeah, and he's his guy. Believe me, if Eli Stowers ain't available, Pavia, he's got a hard time processing. A lot of times it feels to me, Josh, like Pavia's like, oh, bleep it, I'm going to throw it to the tight end again,
Yeah, just little short check downs. Had to touch on that, though. We don't have to get too much into Pavia. We saw what happened. But that was –
In your mind right now, Josh, who's the best team in the SEC?
I mean, in my mind – I'm convinced we are. Alabama is at this point.
Wow.
I think Ole Miss is pretty solid.
Is A&M for real?
Texas A&M is number 5 in the country.
A&M's for real. And playing at A&M is no joke. And I think that's A&M's for real. But I'm going to go right now with the way that we're playing. If we can get a run game going, we look pretty dang good.
Right now, I agree with you. When Mateer gets healthy again for Oklahoma, I'm just saying, Watch out for the Sooners.
Well, you got. I mean, you could pick any of those 4 teams and make a real argument for it.
Fair,
right? You could pick A&M, you could pick Oklahoma, you could pick Alabama, you could pick Ole Miss, right? That's the scary thing about this year is there's no, and then you're leaving Georgia out of that, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then you got Texas, which is, they can't be that bad. I mean, they got to turn it around at some point. So it's a pretty wild year this year. Then you've got undefeated Missouri, I mean, it's just there's a lot of people week after week that'll change.
All right, one more opinion on hierarchy within the SEC. Overall, knee-jerk reaction, worst fan base.
Georgia Bulldogs.
I remember one time Troy played at Georgia, and I'm going in. I'm tugging in all of our equipment. This is really, really early before our broadcast. And I mean, fan comes up to me, face painted black, got the dog ears right here, wearing those shoulder pads with the spikes on it, barking in my face. And I said, ma'am, I'm just the radio announcer, I mean, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So,
Yeah, I can't with them. I mean, it took me a while to actually get them. People told me about that when I moved here. It took a couple years for it really to get under my skin, but good Lord.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I moved back to Birmingham or Montgomery or Huntsville, it would change back to Auburn. But for right now, that's who gets my blood pressure.
Tennessee's always kind of gotten to me a little bit. LSU fans have never bothered me because I learned long ago, just keep your mouth shut. Just sit there and smile. Keep your mouth shut. Don't wear all your crimson. Wear a pair of khaki pants and just a light color.
Half the time, I don't understand what they're even saying.
Yeah,
so that probably helps me.
Just keep your mouth shut. You're good. But the atmosphere around Baton Rouge is fabulous. I love it.
It is. That's exactly right. You know better when you're playing LSU. You keep your head down and you don't even look anybody in the eyes. I mean, it's I learned that at a young age.
There you go. Was raised right.
Yeah.
Josh Harris, our money line magician.
Last LSU game I went to, Josh, I was in the upper deck, and there was a midget right in front of me named Keith. He got so drunk, he actually rolled down the steps. And I thought, man, and that guy's, if he doesn't stop rolling, he's going to pop up over the deck and end up in the lower bowl. It was great.
And you know what?
Memory.
God forbid that happened, but there would have been a whole lot of fans who would have said, all right, okay. And nobody would have been shocked.
No. It's just how it is, right? Yeah. You just take a drink, you nod your head, you maybe help them up. And it's just a crazy world.
Never forget that guy, Keith. Oh, man, what a guy.
Never forget our segments either. Josh Harris, our money line magician. Appreciate you, man.
Pound the Tide, alternate money line. Go get
Love
them.
it. Thank you, Josh. Great stuff. Josh Harris, the money line magician. Great stuff on a Wednesday. Really appreciate that. All right. I think
when we come back.
Yeah, we got a Victoryland 777 topic Will Gurn has put together. We do not know these topics, folks.
No.
So when you see them for the first time, we are seeing them for the first time.
Yep, and we react to them just top of our head. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level. And the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. All right, here we go. About 10 minutes to the top of the hour on this Wednesday, Longshore and McKnight. I want to thank our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there. Video content or write up about the show each and every afternoon. Also on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on X, on Spotify, on Apple Tunes. You can check it out on your schedule. We're live 7 to 9, Monday through Friday, but if it's more convenient for you to check us out at 2 in the afternoon, 2 in the morning, whatever, we're here for you.
Also, one more thing for our viewership, which is blowing up on Facebook.
Yep.
This guy says, this is a great show. What's your email? I have a tip. Ooh,
Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. Longshore and A-N-D, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com.
Yeah, whatever you've got, whenever you want to get it to us, that's the quickest way to get to us whenever we are not live on the show. In the middle of the night, you have something come up and you think, I got to get that to John and Barry. Send it to us. We'll see it. We promise you.
Love
we
it.
Appreciate the compliment.
Yes, thank you. What was that? What was that? Delaware ARF?
Arif.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's go. Let's spin. Let's see what's on the Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, sponsored by Victoryland, where you can be a winner to Trucks and Bucks giveaway. That's the big promotion, so make sure you get in on that.
All right, we draw 5 topics here.
Yep. See what we got. Man, look at that.
Don't know what they are, don't know what they mean until Gurn give them to Bird.
That's
John
the number one
picture.
sign.
Oh, hey, you.
Where is
he's
this?
waving at everybody and everything. Cowboys win against the Jets. Somebody's yelling at Jerry. There you go. That's for you, buddy.
Yeah, Jerry's giving the guy the number one sign.
There you go. You know,
I had a brush with greatness with Jerry Jones once, Barry.
Wasn't in the bathroom in Manhattan.
No, it was in Destin.
Jerry Jones? Okay.
Yeah, at the famous door there at Baytown in Destin, in part of Sandestin. I believe he's got a condo in Destin. He jets over from Dallas a lot, I'm told.
A condo. I bet he's got a full villa. I told the story. I used to work at Sandestin during the summers when I was a student at the University of Florida. And, geez, I could have worked there full time. I could have been a career. I'm telling you, you can make a lot of money working as a bellman at Sandestin at a villa. I got to drive around all the time, help people with their luggage, had to wash this guy's car one time, stuff like that. Lord, I was making good money.
Barry, my brush with greatness in New York was with Bob Costas.
That's right, in the bathroom at some place in Manhattan. Oh, also, I think he ran into Charles Barkley in Manhattan.
I did. Might have been the same trip. As a matter of fact, when I ran into Barkley.
He actually said War Eagle, Chuck.
I did. Said, hey, Chuck, War Eagle. Yeah.
If Charles had only known how full of crud that was, he might not have said War Eagle. All right.
4 more to go. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. Exit 22 off I-85. Open 24/7, 365. Must be 21 years of age to enter.
Destroyed. According to John, that's what Auburn's going to be if they win.
Ooh, yeah.
If the city of Auburn. Oh, fans running. Oh, yeah. Check this out. Yankees. This guy.
Yeah.
I mean, boom.
Ooh.
Didn't even see it coming. That's what you like is the blind side tackle.
Sure. Yes.
This was Oh, here comes somebody else. Yeah, the fans are running on. Watch this. This is the one I'm thinking of. Everybody's got to sit around. Nope, too late.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah. I don't know why. There's got to be some common denominator as to why people get enough bravery to go or stupidity to go run out on the field. There's got to be some common
There's
thing.
got to be overconsumption of alcohol, drugs, or a lot of money at stake. Hey, man, I'll give you 10 grand to go do that. People don't streak anymore, though, Barry. How come people don't run naked across the field like they used to do in the 70s?
Well, sometimes it wasn't terrible. Sometimes it was like, oh, what are you doing, Elmer? Blue Jays and the Yankees play tonight at 6.
Have the Yankees scored any runs lately?
Yeah, Yankees scored 9 yesterday. Beat the Blue Jays 9-6.
Yeah. All right.
They got to do it again behind Yankee rookie right-hander Cam. Okay.
It's asking a lot. All right, what we got here? Big move. Big move.
Oh, with a question mark. That question mark is significant here.
It is.
Giannis for the Bucks. 25-26 season is coming up. You know, the NHL started earlier.
It did. You're right. We had a fight in the NHL the other night. It was part of the wheel.
That was on the topic wheel for sure. Yeah. What are some of the things? Giannis Antetokounmpo, will he
Well, of course, my first thought, Barry, is he going to L.A.? Because it seems like every great player ends up with the Lakers. Funny how that works.
It's, they were great for a couple of years, but they've lost some personnel. He's pretty much, him and Miles Turner, pretty much the only really, good young players they have left.
That's right.
Do you get rid of them and get a few new guys? I don't know. There's a lot of NBA storylines that one of these days we're just going to have to go from beginning to end. NBA.
Curtis, you don't like the NBA? Come on, my man. You got to be kidding me. You got to give it a little taste. All right. 2 more to go. Let's see what we got. Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel Trucks and Buck giveaway going on now at Victoryland. The more you go to Victoryland, the better your chances of winning. Captain Clutch.
Oh, yeah. Comeback victory keyed by Aaron Judge. Got the greatest home run call in baseball history. His last name's Judge, so every time he hits one out, they all say all rise, because he's the judge. Yep. Yeah. They were in trouble. I mean, this was an elimination game. They started slowly, but a big early start for Vladimir Guerrero. They had they got a big home run from Jazz Chisholm, and then Judge. He had a swing they had to have. Ended up winning it. 3-run shot in the 4th inning. 6-3 at one point. Judge tied it with a 3-run shot. And so now they have another chance again playing tonight at home. If they win tonight, then they go play game 5 in Toronto.
Okay.
Here we go.
All right, 1 more to go on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. Let's spin it to make it official. That's what the judges tell us we have to do.
Yeah.
Kismet. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I'm not sure it's spelled correctly, but that's okay. Kismet.
Yeah. Okay, let's check it out.
Oh, yeah, I saw this last night. I saw this live. Kismet is spelled without a Z. It's got an S and it's got an E instead of an I, but I love the effort. Yeah, the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, he hits a home run yesterday in the Mariners win at Detroit.
Okay.
Detroit had a rally. It wasn't close. Watch this. He hits it. This is to add to the lead. 1 hop. The fan who caught the ball had on a shirt that said, "Dump, hit it here," with a number 61 on it. There he is right there. See, dump, hit it here. And I was watching this. You got to be kidding me.
Man.
He had a number 61. That was the 61st home run for Cal Raleigh. He actually hit it to the one guy in the stadium who said, "Dump, hit it here." His nickname is the Big Dumper because his rear end is large.
Huh.
And then, see, he's holding it up in triumph and everything. Then, in the ultimate sweet move, he puts the ball down, takes his shirt off, and underneath it was jump 62. That was his 62nd home run. I mean, that guy played it perfectly. Dump 61, hit it here. Not only does he catch it, but he immediately updates his shirt to number 62. I love it.
That is amazing, man. It's like hitting the lotto or something. That's pretty impressive.
That never happens. There were like 60,000 people there. And he hits it to the one guy who has the T-shirt on. That was
if the Braves could get 60,000 to come to their games.
There is our Victoryland 777 topic wheel.
Yep.
Great job, Gurn Jr., to curate all that. Great job as well from our buddy C.J. Duncan, Yellowhammer News, Brett Vinson, the clinic director at the Wetumpka location of Phoenix Physical Therapy, and Josh Harris, our money line magician. I appreciate all the guys working on your roof. They weren't bad today.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. You know, they're kind of getting, they got the scraping going. I think they're going to start putting some shingles up here in a minute. So we kind of, dodged all the loud sounds and whatnot, but they're working hard out there. Great folks. All right, tomorrow, you mentioned it, Jason Caldwell, Auburn Undercover, Rodney Orr, the Tider Insider, brought to you exclusively by our friends at the Destin Connection Seafood Market. We'll be talking about that big UTEP win tonight over Liberty. Woo-hoo. Yes, sir, and a whole lot more. Yeah. And maybe by this time tomorrow, Barry, Missouri's schedule would have gotten a little stronger. We'll see.
I doubt it. Not strong enough for John to change his opinion.
No way.
He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.